This is the Gator Nation Football Podcast Film Breakdown. I'm James DiVirgilio. I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday. And here I am, bringing you a breakdown of Florida's defense versus Kentucky. This was not pretty. The first half, in fact, was very ugly, where Kentucky had a ton of time of possession. Florida barely had the ball on offense. And the second half was the best half of defensive football that Florida had played. We have to take this with a grain of salt, because Kentucky's offense obviously very limited. It was even more limited given that they were missing two starting offensive linemen. As a meta thought, on display for Florida's defense, poor rotations. Again, we weren't ready for several snaps. The defensive play calls still were not getting in there faster. We left their best player open. We played the wrong scheme. We have the wrong players playing still. And Kentucky ran some exact plays we saw on film study last week against Alabama, again against Florida, and had success. However, we did have some good moments scheme-wise, and we did have some nice plays from some players that we'll highlight. And we did have Dan Mullen giving an earful to Grantham. So perhaps that will signal maybe some sort of change. Who knows? We're not going to hold our breath on that, but we shall see. As always, if you like this content, like this video, sub to this channel. Check us out on social media. Drop us a dono on Patreon. And check out the podcast each and every Monday, where we bring you in-depth analysis of the Florida Gators. Let's start with the very first play of the game. Why? We want to see what Florida does. So we talked about on Alabama's film study that Alabama likes to have their strong safety. And again, in this case, it's Steiner, and nothing needs to be said. If you know what we think about Steiner's play and his role at safety, then there you go. So Steiner's going to be there, and as opposed to Florida bringing down their strong safety and moving the free safety to the middle to play aggressively on these shifts, this is Kentucky's best player, who we said get most of their targets, Josh Ali. Florida is going to wind up playing very passive, and we're going to have Brad Stewart chase across the formation, which again I think creates a bunch of problems, especially against a team that wants to run the ball, as Kentucky does. And Kentucky in this play is not going to get a lot. So we're not going to focus on the result of this play, but this play is going to build in the future on some plays that Kentucky calls in this first half, and it's going to be one of the main reasons why they're so successful, is Florida yet again is playing very, very passively on the defensive end. 3rd down and 3 for Florida. Again, early in the game, how is Florida going to defend Kentucky in this trip set, which they like a lot? I don't love how we're going to defend this. You've seen me highlight all along. I'd like to see us get stronger in here. Now, again, you can play off. I'm okay. What I'm going to really focus on is this. How often have we seen an inside receiver with just a tremendous cushion against Florida? A tremendous cushion. Just keep your eye. Don't worry about what happens down in the box right now. Don't you just look up here. Just go ahead and look up here. And again, this is Kentucky's best receiver. This is the guy they throw the ball to all the time. And this is Sean Davis, who's a good 5 yards behind him. This is 3rd down and 3. And you're going to see he's jumping up and down. He's not happy. He claps his hands at the end. He looks at Terry Wilson. They have a conversation. Terry Wilson is able to read this. This is a run-pass option. Terry Wilson definitely should have kept this. I think one of the reasons why he didn't is Cox is very fast. And teams that obviously do not block Cox have problems. This is a great play by Cox. Cox is almost certainly solely responsible for stopping this because he gets so far up the field. He's perfectly containing the edge here with Wilson. He's also just right up in his face. So great job by Cox. He winds up handing the ball off. And then a guy who we love and we've been highlighting on the podcast each and every week is Diabate. He's not perfect. He has some issues. Sometimes he can't get off blocks. He's getting better and better every week. But why do we love him? Because he's very explosive as a linebacker. One of the problems that plagues Florida is both Ventrell Miller and James Houston are very, very slow, in my opinion, for SEC caliber linebackers. And although they're bigger, I'd much rather have a faster guy in there. And this is the main reason. Take a look at how Diabate comes through this gap right here. Boom. Excellent tackle. I think he's been watching Tyron Hopper's tape on this very channel. But either way, that's a great tackle and a great play. Diabate had a great game. He's getting better and better every single week. And he's making an impact for Florida. So this winds up being a 3rd down stop for Florida. But again, this is not good defense schematically, especially not against the pass. This should be a 1st down. A better team will take this very easily. Still very passive from Florida early on. 4th down and 3 now for Kentucky. Florida is going to blow a zone call. I've looked at this play quite a bit to see who I should be assigning blame on, and I'm really not sure. Regardless, Florida does some bizarre stuff on this. We have Sean Davis up here at free safety. Florida, rather than doing what I would prefer to do when I get these offset formations, is bring a guy up here, be physical on the line, let's clear up the release points here, is going to allow a free release on both sides, which is exactly what Kentucky wants, free release on both sides. But the confusing part is going to be this. On one hand, we can say Marco Wilson blew this coverage, which is perfectly reasonable and allowable. On the other hand, it's really confusing if it's not Marco Wilson's fault and he did the right thing, because I don't know what Steiner's doing. So again, we have a free safety to this side of the field. Steiner is going to open up here. Now keep in mind, we have 2 Kentucky receivers. So Marco and Steiner can't both bracket one guy. Somebody obviously needs to be covering the flat. So is that supposed to be Steiner who goes over here, or is it supposed to be Marco? If it's Marco who goes over here and he's supposed to cover the flat, then Steiner has a safety behind him with no help over here, essentially just giving up a corner route that he'll never be able to get to. That is extremely confusing. So I can't figure out why he would be in this position. However, if we assume that Marco is supposed to guard, again, if Marco is supposed to guard, let's assume now the deep route, then he is going to actually do what makes sense. In that case, he's going to turn him back towards his safety, which means Steiner should be flowing here to the flat route. Now, to me, as best I can tell, that's probably the most logical answer. Marco's going to get the blame on this, and I don't know whose fault this is. But for obvious reasons I just mentioned, based upon Steiner's technique here, Steiner can do nothing to cover this corner route. So if Marco's the flat man, that is a big play, and that is an easy play, and the safety is behind him. So I have a hard time thinking that Marco actually messed this up, because Marco steers him to his help. You would never play defense allowing a receiver to run a corner on you where there's no help. So to me, Steiner blows his assignment, does not go to the flat, messes up the exchange, and gives up a very easy conversion. Of course, we can't know exactly what happens. What we can know is that Florida, yet again, blows a zone way late in the season on a very basic formation and set, where we just don't seem to know what rules we're playing with, how we're playing it, and what is happening. The very next play, it's 1st and 10 for Kentucky. This is going to be a nice defensive play for Florida. Florida's going to send a blitz here, send Cox off the edge, and they're going to lock up and cover one man. Bottom of your screen here. Sean Davis going to pick up the tight end here. Free safety going to be here. Brad Stewart's going to make contact on Josh Ali, again, their best receiver at this point of the route in here. This is a nice play by Florida. So Florida did actually have quite a few nice plays, even in the first half on defense. We've often said that if they get lined up correctly and they're in the proper scheme, Florida does execute well. You see Cox beats his man easily there off the edge, comes in and gets a sack, and then in comes Diabate. And again, look at the speed of Diabate. This is why you like him. Look how far off the line he starts. He's a good 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. And when he starts to go, again, he's in there. And this is a delayed blitz. I don't love how delayed we are here, but I do like the aggressiveness, getting in the A gap in the face of a quarterback like Terry Wilson, who's going to tend to take his eyes off of downfield and look at blitzers, which I like. Regardless, Florida on the back end, although you can't see it, does play really nice defense. Brad Stewart starting in a better position here. He's not 8 yards off this game. He's 5 yards off. And he is, again, you can't see him, but right here as Ali gives him a slant and really he's trying to go to the corner here, or a slant and go route. Nice work by Stewart to make contact within 5 yards. That's what you should do. That's good technique. It's one of the reasons why if you're playing off man, you should not be so many yards off, especially if you struggle to come downhill reading a route. That negates the play and then allows Cox to get the sack. So nice work by Florida's defense. Again, this is early in the first quarter. There were actually some nice plays throughout the first half, despite how it felt. It's 4th down and 1 for Kentucky. It's 4th down and 1 on Kentucky's own 36-yard line. Their own 36-yard line. It's the first quarter. And the score is Florida 7 and Kentucky nothing. Okay, so Florida's winning. You're at home. It's 4th down and 1. Kentucky's under center, which they rarely do. Terry Wilson's not a good passer. Yet, what does Florida do? As we have seen on film time and time again. All right, Kentucky, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 linemen. Florida, 5 guys on the line. Not to mention, Florida's linebackers, 4 yards off the line of scrimmage. How in the world are you going to stop a 4th down and 1 or 4th down in inches, or basically in reality, what's a first down, right? Take a look at this. Looks like a first down to me. But who cares about that? Let's just assume it's 4th down and 1. How are you going to stop that doing this? You're not. And in fact, Florida doesn't even try. Doesn't even try. This kind of stuff frustrates me to no end as breaking down things on film, because this is part of the character of your team. As a defensive play caller, you're essentially telling your team, yeah, we're good with Kentucky getting this 1st down. We're fine with that. Just let them have it. And again, I think this is a message that Florida puts on film each and every week that opposing defenses see, and they love it. They're playing a defense that's passive and not aggressive, does not want to win the battle in the trenches, does not want to risk stopping these 4th downs. Essentially, they're soft on film. And I don't think this is the players' fault. Again, the players are not choosing to do this, as I've said before. This is not something the players say, I'm going to line up back here. This is a coaching call. It's a coaching mentality, and we're going to wind up playing safe. And to me, again, just no good. A lot of that was happening in the first half. A lot of it's been happening all season long, and it happens here again against Kentucky. 1st and 10 now, 14:51 to go in the second quarter. Still 7-0 Florida. I don't know what to say on plays like these. These plays are probably the most frustrating. So we highlighted on our prep film study that Kentucky does like to run the ball to the weak side, and Florida has struggled defending that. So let's give a check mark here, because we have 3 defenders versus 2. Nice work. We have a good relationship here with our middle linebacker. We can move either here or here. That's all fine. This is going to break down in so many levels. So first of all, Florida, again, out here playing extremely passive, right? We are extremely passive. No one's going to be up in the way. Now, again, they have 4 receivers here. We can be passive. Fine. How do you explain this? Look at this passivity. Let's take a look at what Florida chooses to do here. We're going to bring in Ventrell Miller. Now, again, Ventrell Miller is your gap defender. He has to hold the edge and hold this gap. If Terry Wilson keeps the ball, he's your only hope. Okay, that's an X. He's gone. The running back does not have the ball, and Miller's gone. So again, Terry Wilson can just come out here and take as many yards as he wants, because Florida, the only defender who's even looking is Gervais, and that's only because he's guarding his pop route. Okay, see that picture. So, secondly, on top of that, now that Ventrell has not done his job, he should be here, as we saw Cox earlier, at least in the window. He's not in the window. Now look at this. Again, what kind of defense is this? Steiner is not playing safety. Look, I promise you, he's not playing safety. That's not what's happening. His role is him. All right? Now look, Florida's not in man. They're in a pattern matching zone here. They're in a matchup zone. So we're going to drop back my boy Chester Kimborough. He's going to drop back deep. Gervais is going to play the pop route, or really any route that comes in here. And then you're going to have Sean Davis shepherding the route to his deep dropper. So all that's fine. And then you're going to see Chester pulls off. Chester's going to pull off and come into your picture only because he was the deep man looking. But none of that matters, because Donovan Steiner is not playing safety. That's what I want you to know. On this play, that's not his role. His role is this. That's his job. That's his role. How are we playing defense like this? What is the point of this? It's 1st and 10. Again, we get this wrong in here. We get this wrong here. This is just not defense. I really don't know what this is. I've said it before, but at some point in time, if you want to play defense this way, you might as well just take all your players off the field, have them grab popcorn and a drink and a hot dog or whatever game day treat you like, and just watch the game for a while. Because this is offering no opposition to your opponent. And again, it's just befuddling. There's really no way that you can defend it. I mean, there's no way you can sit here and say, well, this is what we're trying to do. We're protecting against this, or we're protecting against that. And again, if you think that Kentucky's running the ball, then why is Ventrell Miller eating this running back fake? He has no linebacker support replacing him. What's happening? This is a very basic play by Kentucky, and Florida gets it wrong, not on one front, but really every front, and it leads to just the easiest of 1st down conversions on 1st down by Kentucky. It's now 3rd and 1, something we've seen a lot before, and again, this is not the players' faults. Take a look here. Take a look. What do you see? Take a look. Take a look. That's Sean Davis. What's happening? They have no idea what the play call is. Again, Terry Wilson under center, not under center often, probably going to be a sneak of some sort. And look at that. No opposition. Look at where we are pre-snap. Not only are we not ready, this is fine. That's what you want to see, but this is what we have here. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why Florida would do this. It's 3rd down and 1 in the red zone. Here you can have it. We're unsure of our play call on 3rd and 1. Again, these are not novel situations. It's not the first game of the season. We have a lot of veteran players. We keep saying it because it keeps showing up on film. Our job on film is not to belabor points. It's just to show you each week what's on film. That's one of the ways you see progress. You go, hey, look, that was on film last week. It's not there this week, but here it is again. 7-7 second quarter, Kentucky now backed up in their own end. We talked about on the breakdown of Kentucky using the Bama film how, yet again, we much prefer not to have, especially against a team that doesn't throw the ball well, not to have your nickel chase across the field because it gives Kentucky a good chance to run the ball. You'd much rather have your safety, who you can't see, in this case still Steiner, coming down into the box and passing that off, and then Brad can replace here, or he can go here and set as an additional linebacker. That would be the goal, in my opinion, of playing an aggressive version of defense. Instead, Florida does. Let's make sure we stay with him, and let's make sure we run behind our linebackers, which again is going to be the slowest and least effective way to get guys into the box. Very, very passive way to do this. And right up here at the point of attack, we now create a nice big hole. You're going to see Steiner just now. Again, he's your run supporting safety. He just now comes into the picture. You know how Kentucky knows this? Kentucky knows so well what Florida does because look at who the receiver is blocking. He has to run 8 yards before he can even block Steiner because Steiner is so far away. Here's Brad Stewart, who had to come from a bad position. Now to fill this hole, he's going to overrun this. Why? Because it's really hard. Look at what Brad Stewart has to do on this play. Brad Stewart has to run all the way around these linebackers. Here he comes, all the way around the linebackers, try to read the play while moving, while simultaneously keeping an eye on his man. Okay, my man doesn't have the ball. Now I see the blockers. Okay, great, I'm going to clear them. Okay, there's the running back, and now I've overrun it. I need to stop my feet. I can't, it's too late. And then the guy making the tackle is actually Elam, who passes off his guy because his guy blocks Steiner. So again, 2nd and 11, backed up on their own 7-yard line, and that's how Florida chooses to play defense. This exact play was shown on our prep film study leading into the game with Kentucky. Florida is going to get themselves on the wrong side of the numbers in this situation. So Kentucky has 1, 2, 3, and 4. We saw A&M do this to us as well. Kentucky saw it on film and thought, hey, it worked against Bama. It's clearly worked against Florida before. Let's see if we can try. So again, they have 4. Florida has 4. Florida then on the weak side is going to bring some pressure here, as we like to do. But what is Kentucky going to do? And they didn't do as much of this as normal because they were missing some linemen, right? And that's key. So they did a lot less in the creative run than they did against Alabama, which was thankfully helpful to Florida, especially as the game moved on. But we're going to have our guard pull across the formation to then give us 5. Take a look here, 5 blockers. There it is. Have them pull across the formation, and we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 sealing off the middle. Florida plays right into this absolutely beautifully by pushing into this side, which we've seen Florida do before. This is obviously just bad timing. Also, I think there's no need to do this against a split back sec because the split back can go either way. Why would you roll the dice and choose which side to go to? And then Kentucky comes out, and obviously hat on hat, Sean Davis. Again, as if he's a free safety. Why he's down in the box having to do this kind of stuff, I don't really know. This is not his natural spot. He's waiting to see who keeps it. Okay, it's not Terry. Great, I'm late. And now they are off to the races. Now, again, they should have scored a touchdown against Alabama on this play. Against us, they're just going to get a huge play, which they do because Florida is so passive and so far back. They're always going to have Steiner there to help. Look, there he is, 25 yards off the ball. Nice, easy first down. Again, nothing that wasn't already on film, and yet Florida sort of plays right into it again. After an excellent punt by Florida, pinning them deep, it's now 3rd down and 2. Now, this is important. We've seen all the way leading up to this point how Florida has been playing on defense, especially in these 3rd down and short situations. This time, Florida goes full Alabama on them, or what I'm going to call just solid defense on them. We're going to play man-to-man on the edge, and we're going to put everyone else in the box. Take a look at that right there. Everything you want to see. Now, there's another player that you can't see off here is in man, so there's no safety. We have no safety here, as we should not. There's 1 minute left. It's 3rd and 2. Terry Wilson's not a good quarterback. He's much more of a runner. Stop them doing what they want to do. Trust your athletes to play defense man-to-man. You are a more talented football team. Don't be so passive. Kentucky runs the ball because that's what Kentucky does. Conservative play. Again, they probably should take their chances passing the ball here, but it's 10-7. They're feeling good. Florida makes a nice play here. Miller comes right in. And again, this occurs because Florida has numbers. So much of Florida's problems on defense are scheme and personnel, and obviously play calling. And again, that stuff to me comes from coaching, right? Coaching controls scheme, coaching controls personnel, and coaching controls play calling. When Florida actually winds up being in a good play call with the right personnel and the right scheme, which those things really hardly ever happen in my opinion, but maybe you get 2 out of 3 of them, the result tends to be a pretty good play for Florida. And that's it there. Bottled them up, stopped them. Aggressive play call late in the first half. Nice work by the defense. It's now the first play of the second half for Kentucky. Dan Mullen had already had his discussion about Christmas lights with Grantham in the first half. We saw Florida's defense respond more aggressively on that third down. Let's see if that Christmas light discussion continues on in the second half. First down and 10. We talked about what we think is the best way to play this. Now take a look at what Florida does. Motion man is Josh Ali. Stewart stays home. Florida was 7 in the box. Steiner rotating down. Much different look. Much different look. Now Florida is set in the box. They're able to fill all the gaps. They have the numbers that they need. They're playing much more aggressively. And again, Miller here could have made a better stop on this. Right? He's overrunning his gap. But regardless, this play then just goes for a couple of yards. Why? Florida's in the proper scheme, making the proper rotations, making things harder for what Kentucky wants to do. On the Kentucky prep film, we talked about how Alabama kept finding more and more ways to try to rob the middle routes or slant routes or dig routes that Kentucky threw. Eventually, they hit pay dirt with a pick six. Florida going to counter with their own version of that, really just having Diabate, again, who was excellent in this game, just mirror Terry Wilson, which is going to be nice, which will help on these short underneath routes. Again, you can take advantage of a quarterback like Wilson not being a great quarterback. Now, there are some perplexing things here. Again, on film, you want to look around and say everything looks sound. Here's our safety. This is Torrance. He's in the middle of the field. Here's Marco Wilson. This is James Houston. Houston's lined up against a running back. Okay, so Marco Wilson is essentially going to allow their slot receiver to just run unopposed to the corner. Now, again, if Terry Wilson is a better quarterback, right now he looks at the safety, he sees the leverage of Marco, and he says, great, he's giving me that route. That's the route I'm taking. So this is perplexing. There's, again, no understanding for this, no reason for this. You have no help to the outside. There's no point in having a safety shaded to your side if you're just going to give him the outside. So again, some things don't make sense. Houston's not dropping. He's not going to drop in his safety. He's a linebacker. Some bizarre things on that side. But let's focus on what goes really well right here, and that's Diabate. And then you have Trevez, who's going to get beat quite nastily here on this little move that you can see in there. Whoop, he's not in the right spot. But lucky for him, this is okay, Diabate's doing his job here. His job's not to rush. His job is just to drop down the line and take away any one of these little routes he sees. He's just following Terry Wilson's eyes. Take a look at him. Take a look at Diabate. He's just following his eyes, following his eyes. Keep the feet shuffling. Follow the eyes. Follow the eyes. Step back. Get ready. And then Terry Wilson throws him a nice fat pick because Wilson really is just looking here. He just wants to look at Josh Elliott. That's his guy. Thinks, okay, great. Yeah, he beat Trevez. No problem. Easy money. Nice completion here. Maybe a first down. Nope. Diabate comes out of nowhere. Give me that. Takes off. Loose ball security there. That's right. We'll work on that this week. No problem. But showing up again on the stat sheet. Excellent athlete. Great footwork. Way to play coverage right here. Way to finish the play with a pick. Nice work by Florida on that part of the field. That was a designed, a on the line robber, if you will. But nice work. It paid off. Excellent interception by Florida. And again, a more aggressive play call from Florida when it comes to trying to actually steal a play. So aggression doesn't always have to be sending blitzes, but in this case, understanding what Kentucky wants to attack and assigning a defender to that area. Also, nice job here by Bernie, who breaks off his zone once his passes off his man to then come in and help on this to hopefully make a tackle and stop it short of the first down. So nice work there from Florida. Florida now well in control of this game. It's 3rd down and 2. We've seen in the past Florida get more passive on defense. They're going to stay aggressive here. Again, 3rd and 2. Take a look at what happens. Do we mess this up? Yeah, we messed this up. So Trevez, again, a freshman with Trey Dean here. Trey Dean coming down, which is what I would prefer. Really, neither of these guys can cover Josh Ali, which is a problem in and of itself. Again, personnel is important. You can run a good scheme, but if you can't actually cover the guys, teams will make you pay. We'll save that for a different day. But in general, what happens here, they actually both do the same thing. So Chester Kimbrough is at the top of your screen. He's locked up in man. Jaden Hill on the line of scrimmage. He's locked up. Well, he's a little off line of scrimmage, but he's locked up in man. Aggressive play calling, single high safety. Let's get as many guys as we can in the box. At least here you see some communication, which is good. Hey, let's make sure we get our splits correct because right now Florida's in jeopardy. of getting beat on the weak side. Again, if we pull here, pull across, and use him, we're in trouble, right? So we've had issues before getting lined up correctly. Now let's slide over. Now if they snap the ball right now, things aren't looking great with our numbers in the box because we're here. Again, thankfully, Kentucky not going to get this right. At least Florida's erring on the side of aggression. Dean leaves himself in no man's land. He has no reason being there. He should be here, since he's definitely a run stopper on this play, and you can see him doing that. So do we get settled correctly? No, we don't. Is the idea in the right set to try to wind up making sure that we're bringing a safety down and playing more aggressive in the box? Yeah, heart's in the right place, intent's in the right place. I'd much rather see these things on film, especially when you have a young player and a guy like Dean who hasn't gotten a lot of reps, having those exchanges happen. I'm fine with this because the intent is good. The intent is to get the numbers right in here, which does not happen, but thankfully, here comes Dean, here comes the play. We get a nice hold here by Slayton, who had an excellent game, and Campbell, who just win. They just win right here. They hold the line of scrimmage. No place to go. Houston fills his gap. Here comes Dean. Again, he should really already be in this gap, but this is all done by the D tackles, who bottle this up and get a nice big stop. But regardless, proper idea for how to defend a team and stay aggressive. 3rd down and 1, 31-10. Again, the Christmas lights discussion really paying off because Florida now is trying to play like Alabama, which is always a really high compliment on defense because generally they're aggressive. And here we go. What do you see? No safety. What are you telling Kentucky? Hey, we don't think that you can pass well enough to beat us. And we're not afraid of that, and so we're going to come up here and we're going to play you. Just like this. Go ahead. You want to take a shot? Take a shot. We're not going to let you do what you want to do, which is run the football. And Florida, of course, going to counter right here with 8 guys in the box. We have rarely seen such aggression out of Florida all year long. And again, Kentucky really is a one-trick pony running the ball. It doesn't matter. Florida's doing it. Numbers on the line, 2, 4, 6. Numbers on the line for Florida, 5, right? Excellent work. Proximity here to the line of scrimmage. Look at this. Sean Davis walking up. We're getting aggressive here. We're coming into this. We're not going to let you run for this. Look at this alignment. Much better. Florida wins at the line of scrimmage. Wins easily. And again, as we've said time and time again, if Florida's in the right look with the right numbers and the right scenario pre-snap and they're ready for the snap, they can be a good defense. That's one of the reasons why it's been so frustrating watching them on film, is it just feels like with a couple of scheme changes, some personnel changes, some play calling changes, this defense could be good. Not just average, but they could be good, especially with the way the defensive line has been playing all year long. It was obviously encouraging to see Florida play much differently in the second half. That should encourage all of us. But again, one half against a team that can't pass the ball should not define the future of Florida football for the rest of this season. We're going to have to see more of this on film to prove that this is something that's here to stay, and we still need to see some personnel changes. But regardless, this is the first half all season long that Florida has ever played defense with this kind of aggression. Again, I think something that Dan Mullen said, that was Florida defense. Well, look, a lot of it just had to do with lining up correctly. The very next play, it's now 4th and 3. Florida in a perfectly fine alignment here with one safety. Now they got a tight end here, got a running back here. Again, they could send both of these guys out. This could absolutely be a pass play. Notice Sean Davis now 5 yards away, a much better off-coverage situation. We're playing press here. We are playing aggressive. The only weakness in this situation, in my opinion, is Houston. Houston struggles to cover, and we are going to ask Houston to do something that I don't think he should be asked to do, which is to cover, again, this running back out of the backfield. It's a tough matchup. And Kentucky's drawing this up on purpose. So what is Kentucky doing on film? They're saying, where can we attack Florida? They see this pre-snap and they say, we love this matchup all day long. Let's really just clear out all these guys and make this a one-on-one. This is a good play call by Kentucky. This is a personnel issue by Florida. This call can be fine. Not fine with the personnel. Also, nice play by Kentucky. They catch Florida playing man defense. And they give this rub, and Houston is really not going to get here. But Cox yet again, and teams need to be aware of this, right? Cox, you cannot allow Cox to get free runs at you like this. He's just too quick. He's getting better and better every single week. And yet again, we see him sort of by himself stop this play. In a world where Cox is not here as quick, this ball's here, and this is probably a first down. I do want to give some respect here to Marco Wilson, who does the right job Being an outside defender like this, he's able to open up to the field, and because he's opening up to the field and because he's a free safety in the middle of the field, he's able to take a glance. Ball's coming his side, a glance this way, which he does, peels off, and he's coming downhill now. Now, again, no real shot for him to get here because this ball was not thrown well. If it's thrown on time, he still gets a first down, but regardless, nice work there by Marco to peel off and come make a play. Again, Houston, you can tell, is never going to make this play. If this ball is thrown better, he's catching it here, and he's getting a first down regardless. Houston's not there. Nice design. Sometimes, again, teams are going to run good plays against you. The key takeaway here is other teams are aware of Florida's personnel. This was the exact matchup they wanted. That's the matchup they wanted, and they got it. And again, it's something we've seen on film time and time again. Houston is probably, him and surprisingly Bernie have really struggled to cover well. Bernie be a guy you think who could. He's had a rough year covering, but Houston is by far, I think, Florida's weakest linebacker at coverage. On 4th and 3, you've got him in there thinking you want run support. I just assume play another linebacker and or defender that you could actually cover the running back with and live with stopping the run by playing only one safety, especially against a team like Kentucky. Either way, we're going deep and we're going granular there. Florida gets off the field on 4th and 3. They were playing a much more aggressive defense to begin with, and that's one of the rewards of doing so. This is a really nice play call by Florida and really nice execution, and that should be music to your ears. It's not often we get to hear that, but it is on all accounts. We've got Elam down here. We're going to bracket that with Steiner. So we're going to inside release. Steiner's going to wind up, and again, you can see he's nice and low here on 3rd down and 9. We're taking away the routes Kentucky wants to throw. We talked about how Terry Wilson hates to throw out to the numbers left, especially when he's this far away. It's a very unlikely throw. So let's go player by player and watch what happens. First, keep your eyes on Jaden up here. He is going to be squatting on any flat route, any slant route, any quick dig route. That's his job. He does that perfectly, locates the quarterback, sees where his eyes are, relocates the receiver, and then finds himself coming back into this window. So check. Nice play there. All right, that's one. Now let's come down to the bottom of the screen and let's watch what happens here. It's going to get cut off. There's Elam. Inside release. Good contact point. Control the outside. Stay leveraged. Perfect. You can't see it, but Steiner's right here waiting for this throw. So if this little hitch is here, a little dig is here, that's gone. All right, that's a check. Take a look at my boy, Tyron Hopper. Here he is. I love this guy. He's going to come here. He's going to match up. Check. All right, this is looking good. Now we're playing some good defense. Here we go. Let's look at the most important part of the play, which is Brad Stewart. Stewart here is going to take an inside track. This is excellent. Why is he doing this? Again, this should tell you already. You've been watching these film studies. You're starting to get really good at breaking down this film. It should tell you that Sean Davis has gone this way. And if you guessed that, you're in fact correct. That's exactly where Sean Davis is. Steiner is trying to feed him to Sean Davis, and then he's going to maintain underneath leverage if a post is run. Sean Davis would be over top, and this would be a bracket. We're bracketing the receiver. This is Josh Ali, their favorite target in between them. You can see Terry Wilson looks at absolutely no one else, lets the ball fly, and this is good bracket coverage. Again, Brad Stewart, very close in relationship here to Josh Ali. Sean Davis coming downhill. And in a perfect world, maybe Sean Davis should be a little closer, but regardless, for a guy like Terry Wilson, this is a very tight throw, really for any quarterback, very tight throw. Again, this ball's going to have to be sat right here. He overshoots his mark. Sean Davis peeling off from that safety spot, comes right into it, catches it like a receiver, and we're off to the races. Again, that is an excellent defensive play by Florida. It's going to be the last play that we show on our film study. It's something we have not seen enough of this year. But let's take a look from Terry Wilson's view as a nice bonus ending. You love when you get these, so you get an idea sort of what this looks like. And this is what your D should look like. Again, if you're Terry Wilson, that's gone. This is bracketed here, right? We've already seen what's going on the left where you've got a dig route coming into your screen over here, and there it is. And again, if you're the quarterback, where you're throwing, well, you want this pass here. That's the one you want to throw. We've got a linebacker in your underneath window, so you're going to put that over him and into here. That is, in fact, the right pass to throw, but again, Terry Wilson doesn't like to throw left, doesn't like to throw passes of that distance. It's good scouting. Highly unlikely he's throwing there. He's going to look at Josh Ali. So you're going to take your chances with him looking at Josh Ali, as we said, and you're going to bracket him underneath and over the top. You can see that Sean Davis is already making a move to this post route, which is exactly what you want your safety to do. Ball's not thrown. Take a look at Sean Davis. He's already moving there. Then because of that, Sean Davis is not coming down. He's coming across because now Sean Davis is playing the football. That's what Sean Davis does best. We've unfortunately seen him get to do very little of playing a lot of free safety like that. And we've also seen Florida, of course, not get the bracket coverage correct. So great job by Stewart here. Way to move the feet. Way to make sure that you're funneling this route here where Sean Davis could pick it up. But if he turns back here, you're underneath it. This is very, very good defense by Florida. Way to get your hands up here. These are the kind of things you want to see on film. Notice again, Diabate is a dropper who's doing the same thing he got a pick on before, just reading any eyes here in case they try to run a little drag. Nice play, nice defense, good coverage across the board. This was much, much better by Florida. Obviously, the best second half Florida has played on defense by far. Again, grain of salt because it's Kentucky, but it doesn't matter. Hopefully by now you've learned, at least on this channel, if there's one thing in football that really matters is what you do does show up on film. What shows up on film stays consistent. And then if you can improve upon that each and every week, it's easy to expect teams and players to get better. That's what you would expect. And for Florida, we've seen so precious few plays that make sense, that look good from top to bottom. And in the second half, we got more of those plays than we've ever seen. Again, it remains to be seen what happens going on to the future. Certainly my hopes are not extremely high because we still have the same coaches. We still have the same issues with who we play and how it's working. But regardless, signs of hope. You always want to be optimistic. There are signs of hope. We had more signs of hope at the end of this game than we did at the beginning. So that does remain true. Again, as always, if you like this content, like this video, sub to this channel. And until next time, I'm James from the Gator Nation Football Podcast.